My name is Jim McGilver, and this is the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. If you find this video useful, please give it a like, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more videos like this. Today I would like to talk to you about playing in a solo piping competition. If you've never played in a competition before, or if you're inexperienced at it, it can for some be an overwhelming experience. I'd like to talk to you about every step in the competition process, from entering right up until the time you're finished and go to pick up your score sheets. Let's start now, and let's start at the beginning with entering your competition. This part of the process doesn't require your bagpipe at all. The first thing you're going to do is join your local piping and drumming association. These are the people who administer our competitions and our Highland Games. There will be a fee to join your association, but these fees go to the betterment of our discipline and to help run our competitions. These associations appreciate our fees, and they also appreciate volunteers who help out with events. Once you've joined your association, you need to decide which grade you're going to compete in. You'll work with your instructor on this, and you'll also look up the entry form for the games you want to compete in and see what the requirements are in each grade. This will help you determine what grade you're going to play in. Some associations require that you apply to be graded before you first enter. Again, check the rules of your association. This is a process you want to begin several months before the time of your event. Do not leave grading and entering until the last minute. In terms of entering, most contests require that you submit your entry form at least 3 weeks before the actual event occurs. So, in terms of entering and joining your association, plan well in advance. Most piping and drumming organizations post online and well in advance the events, what time they start, the order of play, and all sorts of other information. So well before the day you go to compete, you should know exactly what time you're playing, maybe even the name of the judge you're playing for. If you've never competed before, I suggest you arrive at your competition, particularly if it's a Highland Games, at least 90 minutes before you play. This will give you time to become acclimatized to the locale, to find your event, and to tune up and get ready to compete. First thing you will do when you arrive is find the location of your event. Often Highland Games post a map at the administration table showing where the tables are and what event is at what table. Look for this map. Events are usually signed as well and not too hard to find. So locate your event. If it hasn't started, check to see if the steward is available and check in with the steward. If the event has started, check in with the steward. Always, always, always check in with your steward so the steward knows that you are there. On games day, the steward is your best friend. If you check in and something goes amiss, maybe you're playing at another event or your event time has changed and you're not available when it's your time to play, a good steward will give you a little bit of leeway and look for you as long as they know that you are there. So always check in with your steward. So now you've arrived at the games, you know the location of your event, and you have checked in. It's time to prepare to play. Okay, so now you're at the games, you're entered, you know the location of your event, you've checked in with your steward, and you're dressed in your Highland garb. You have 30 or 40 minutes left to play. Now's the time to get your bagpipe out and warm up. By warm up, I don't mean strike up your pipes and immediately play your competition tune. I'm a believer in gentle 5 to 10 minutes of warm up to get your fingers going and to settle your bagpipe down. This is not really the time to pound through your competition tune half a dozen times. Presumably, you're well practiced at your competition tune. I have found when I was competing that my first time through a tune was always the best. So I very rarely played my competition tunes before the event. I might play a part or I might play a phrase here and there, but I certainly did not repeatedly play my competition tune over and over again. Don't overplay your musical mind or your fingers. It's at this preparation stage that you want to make sure your pipes are as close to being perfectly in tune as possible. This can be difficult at a Highland Games because there are pipers and drummers everywhere and it's hard to hear your bagpipe. If this is the case, I suggest you take a walk, find a far off corner where you can hear your bagpipe, tune it or have it tuned for you so that when you go up to the judge, it is in tune. You may not be able to hear very well when you're standing in front of the judge, so sometimes tuning can be difficult. So have your pipes in tune before your event. Judges are very friendly. Try to remember that. They may look concerned or they may have their head down when you approach them, but that's because they're trying to keep track of a whole bunch of performances in their head so they can come up with a correct result. Overall, though, they are pleased to see you, and I can assure you that judges want you to play well. They are on your side. When the steward has told you to approach the judge, or if the judge is alone and obviously waiting for you, approach from the front of the table. The judge will look up and greet you. Nod your head, say hello. At that point, it's just a polite little conversation, and it won't go on for too long. The judge may or may not chat a little bit. Most of all, they'll want to make sure they have your name right, and they want to know the name of the tune you are going to play. If it's a hard name to remember, write it down on a little card and carry it with you so you can tell the judge when they ask you. At this point, the judge will nod and tell you to go ahead. You will now move on to the next step, which is striking up your bagpipe and tuning it. When you compete, you want your bagpipe to be in tune. You may tune it yourself, or you may have someone tune it for you. Check with the rules in your association. In most associations, you can only have someone tune your bagpipe for you in front of the judge up to a certain grade. Above that grade level, you have to tune your own pipes. So check your rules and make sure you can be tuned or that you have to tune your own pipes. There are time limits on tuning. For light music, marches, twispes, reels, it's usually 2 to 3 minutes. For pibroch, the classical music of the bagpipe, it's usually 4 to 5 minutes. If you go over that tuning time, you will hear from the steward or you will hear from the judge who will ask you to play. Again, as I said earlier, tuning your bagpipe at the Highland Games can sometimes be challenging, especially right in front of the judge when there may be an event on this side and an event on that side not too far away. It can be hard to hear your pipes. So make sure when you go up to approach the judge that your pipes are in tune. That way, if you can't hear them, they've been tuned previously and they should be pretty good. Now it's time to play your tune. Once you've greeted the judge and tuned your pipes, it's time to play your tune. You're going to pick a spot in front of the judge, not too close, you don't want to blow their poor ears off, and not too far away, especially on a noisy day at the games. You want the judge to be able to hear you. So pick a suitable place in front of the judge, and that's where you're going to perform. If you're playing a march, which most people are, and you can march to it, march to it. If you're not ready to march yet, that's okay. Marching is good because it helps you play a little more rhythmically, and it also makes you appear more confident and professional to the judge. You're not marked on your marching at all. But the more professional and experienced you look, the better. When you're playing a Strathspeyan reel or a jig, a dance tune, again, pick a spot not too far away and not too close to the judge, because for those tunes you'll be playing in a stationary position. Once you start playing, and this is important, you cannot stop and start again. Even if you make a mistake in the second bar of the tune, you cannot stop and start again. Once you have started playing, you are committed. When you finish your performance, stop your pipes, face the judge, and give them a little nod. The judge will look up, return your nod, might say thank you, and then they'll return to writing their score sheet. At that point, you can depart for a much-deserved rest. Once the event is over, the judge will compile all the results and put the prize winners on a master list. This master list will usually be posted during the day at some point near the administration desk, and you'll be able to see if you got a prize or see where you placed. You can then go to the administration desk and pick up your score sheets. Results may also be announced at the end of the day, so depending on whether you earned a prize or not, you may or may not wish to stay until the result announcements at the end of the day. So that is your competition day in. You performed, and you have some score sheets telling you how you did. You may have one more question on your mind at this point as you read your score sheet, and that may be, what the heck is this judge looking for? When you compete in a solo piping competition, the judge is generally looking at three main elements. The first is your bagpipe. Is your bagpipe in tune? Are the drones in tune with your low A? And are the rest of the notes on the scale in tune with the drones? The quality of your instrument has a huge bearing on how well you place in competition. The second thing the judge will be looking at is your technique, your grace noting. We want to avoid missing grace notes whenever possible. The more grace notes we miss, chances are the poorer we will do. We want grace notes to be clean, without crossing noises. We want them to be crisp, and we want them not to be missed. This is especially true in the lower grades. Most piping instructors and judges feel that technique must be solidified when players are young and just starting out to compete. So judges will generally mark technique quite high in the lower grades. The third thing they're judging is music. Are you playing with a steady rhythm? Are you playing with good musical expression? And are you playing at an engaging tempo that doesn't vary? And of course, the judge is looking at how these three elements fit together to make your overall performance. Note that the judge is not judging marching. He's not judging dress. He's judging your music and the sound of your instrument and the quality of your technique. That's the story on competing. If it's your first time, good luck. If you've done it many times, good luck as well. You get better at it with time. It can be daunting first time out, but it can be a very rewarding experience competing. From me, Jim McGilvery at the Pipe Box, good piping.